Gotta go fast!
Playing Yooka-Laylee in trousers.
Inklings, round 2.
All that and more.
Cody, what's next?
You motherfucker will kill all my lilies!
Sorry, while we're skiing. Oh, God. Welcome to episode 14 of the Super Media Brothers podcast. I'm Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Okami.
What's up, y'all?
Both of y'all.
2 of you, again.
And this kitty.
And this kitty that is sleeping in your lap.
Yes, indeed.
He is so sleepy.
Meow.
He is so fluffy.
Oh my god.
I want to squeeze him.
Oh my god.
He'd go, meow, and claw my face.
He's out.
He's out. So, this week, we are going to be bringing you a very video game heavy show. Yas. Because there are some releases coming soon that we want to talk about. A discontinuation of sorts, and Cody and I each have reviews to give you guys on some video games that we've actually played.
Well, partial reviews since we're not fully done with either one of them.
Yeah, but, I mean, my God, I think we've spent enough time on both of them to, like, nerd out.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to start with a little blue thing in red sneakers. And if you don't know what I'm talking about,
It's not an emo kid holding his breath. No.
No, it's I mean, the quills, the hair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about right.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go Oh, you cut that out. If you guys recall, if you had been following it, last year, and I believe it was last year, Sega announced they were coming out with Sonic Forces, which it wasn't even called Sonic Forces then. It was called Project Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the official title is Sonic Forces. And,
Fancy that.
Huh?
Fancy that.
Fancy that. This is being developed by the Sonic team, and it's the same team that developed Sonic Generations and Sonic Colors. The longtime Sonic series producer Takashi Iizuka is going to be on board with this project. They started developing this after Sonic Lost World. Did you get to play that one?
I haven't actually.
Okay, I didn't get to either. Aiden, my son, got to, and he loved it. They're supposed to be running this on Hedgehog Engine 2, which is kind of a refined version of the Sonic Unleashed engine.
Mm-hmm.
And this game is actually supposed to be more in line with the Sonic Generations and Sonic Unleashed game style. This will feature both classic Sonic and modern Sonic.
I don't know how I feel because a lot of the modern day Sonics haven't been really up to par with the gameplay of the older days.
Yeah.
So hopefully they've actually learned from their mistakes since they had that time frame whenever Sega was kind of like going downhill faster than Sonic did.
I mean, like, they're going to have the 2 variants of him in the game, which I'm assuming, they haven't, like, said anything, but I'm also assuming this will have, like, side-scroll and 3D, kind of how Sonic Generations was, which I thought that was a step in the right direction as far as if you're going to take the classic and then what they're using now, that's a good way to combine the both of them. Again, obviously, Dr. Eggman is the villain, but the other characters like Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and the Chaotix are going to be in non-playable appearances and supporting roles, kind of like radio communications or like, dial in how Tails usually does, his tech advisor and things. This game is supposed to be released in the 4th quarter of 2017, so I'll be looking forward to that. It's going to be on Windows, the Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. And alongside Sonic Forces, Sonic Mania. And that's the title I'm looking forward to because this is a legit 2D side-scroller.
I think you showed me a video of that where it was kind of like the history of all the Sonics and it brought into... Oh, was that the Forces one?
No, that was Sonic Mania.
Oh, okay. Because I remember seeing, like, they were doing, like, a compilation of all the classic Sonic games side-scrolls, and then they brought back this, like, new look of it, but it's more along the lines of the classic gameplay. new levels and everything, but it's the same style as the older generations.
Yeah, and you can actually control Tails and Knuckles in this as well. They're playable characters. They're using a thing called Drop Dash now, which you can like leap in midair and like start your dash build in midair.
And then go right and hit, yeah.
Yep. What they're doing is they're dividing each into acts like the original series was. But what they're doing is they're taking original levels alongside remixed levels from the past, such as like the Green Hill Zone from the original Sonic the Hedgehog and the Casino Zone from Sonic 2.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get really cool variants of the levels we grew up playing, and then we're going to get brand new levels with this style. It's all the sprite style, and I'm excited for this one just because, to me, this is a giant nostalgia trip.
Yeah, same here.
And to me, those were the better games.
Mm-hmm.
I think they...
I mean, I grew up more on Sonic 2, and actually, Sonic 2 is my introduction, and then Sonic 3 came out, and then I did the whole cartridge combination with Knuckles.
Oh, yeah.
And that was probably my favorite out of the whole series, because you actually got that long gameplay with the character of Sonic being Supersonic and Hypersonic.
Yeah, I remember that, too. I remember going to an old video store when I was a kid, and I had the Sega Genesis, but I never had the little adapter piece where you could, clip it on there, and I think that was one of the first games to introduce that. The video store had the little compatible thing that you could rent.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you rented the game and it was supposed to come with it, you could rent that, and you could put it on there, and that was my first introduction to that style of it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I got the Sega Genesis with the original Sonic the Hedgehog, so the first one was actually my introduction to it. And I really enjoyed the progression. Even Sonic Spinball, I really enjoyed Sonic Spinball. A lot of people didn't really care for it.
See, I played Sonic 3D World, where it was that, I don't know what that engine's called, but it's like that four-way direction.
I know where you're talking.
But it was over the top.
Yeah, he would go diagonal, but you couldn't, like...
Yeah.
Wasn't that on the...
That was on Sega.
Was it the Genesis or 32X?
That was Genesis.
Wow. See, because I kept thinking for some reason it was the Sega CD. Do you remember that console?
I remember that, but I remember the time I was in middle school, and it was either get Vector Man 2 or get Sonic 3D World, so I opted for Sonic 3D World.
Yeah.
So
I remember Sonic CD, like, it sucks too because I liked Sega, but I felt like they just had a lot of missteps with some of their consoles after the Genesis, I
know with the Dreamcast, they had Sonic Adventures, which wasn't as... widely accepted as the others.
God, no. The failed reboot of Sonic the Hedgehog for Xbox 360 was probably, like, the worst.
Yeah.
So, what we're getting at is, like, hopefully this is redeeming. These two games will be kind of a redemption story.
Hopefully.
I hope so. And those will be out for all four systems. I say four systems. All three of the main systems, Xbox,
and the computer,
Sony, and Nintendo, and PC as well. Now, this upcoming title, which is a Switch exclusive, is something I know that you're excited about.
Yeah.
Yes!
I can't even do the mimicking of the noises. It's like this weird kind of like garbly, like childish kind of voice.
It's like a drowning meat wad.
Yeah. Kind of like that.
Drowning meat wad.
Yeah. Wow. Something like that. But yeah, Splatoon 2 actually is coming out pretty much in the near future, honestly.
Yeah, I think... Did they put a release date out? Yeah, I think they have.
I think it was in the summer, huh?
I'll look that up real quick. And while I'm thinking about that, man, they really... they missed the boat with putting the 2 somewhere in, like, where the T should have been, like, Splatoon.
Splatoon.
July 21st, Dan.
Yeah. So that's pretty soon.
Yeah.
We're almost on May, so...
anything that you've, looked into for this so far? Or?
Well, I mean, just the slight differences, like the new character levels and the new... I guess they have abilities, new special abilities, new weaponry and stuff, but I don't know how Nintendo's going to pull off the online gaming aspect.
I didn't think about that.
Because they're not really doing anything with it right now, but then there was a rumor about they were supposed to be doing the same thing with Xbox, where they charge to actually go online and do the access to gameplay and stuff like that. So being that this game was heavily reliable on the community, basically, playing multiplayer, I don't know how well it is going to respond to if they do happen to charge per, online play.
Well, I know they're going to do local area networking for like privatized local play, like tournament style. I guess is what they're looking for, like team war.
But I think,
tournaments.
but I think what they're trying to do is like with the Switch, how it's able to just basically go away from the main TV itself and actually go out in the open with people and stuff. They'll have like 4 different screens set up, and you have your people, playing with you,
like turf war mode and stuff like that.
Basically. So I think that's what they're trying to lean towards, and not have people rely strictly on online gaming.
Now, I read about the dual weaponry. Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's a dual pistol basically.
Oh, sweet. Reminds me of Halo 2 so much.
But I'm wondering if one of the abilities I saw, the dodge roll, if it's restricted to just that play style, or if it's like any character can play. Like if you have a sniper character, you can dodge roll middle instead of being the dual wielder, basically.
It doesn't specify, but I know that there's still going to be like dodge rolls and jetpacks and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have new super abilities. Like they have the it's like a missile launcher basically that shoots out like from a distance. You can actually launch like in a certain area. You can launch a storm cloud of ink and basically like terrorize an area. There's a jetpack that allows you to do like a cannon from the jetpack area. That's the main ones I saw.
Oh man, I'm really. I played the first one. I mean, I'm gonna admit, like I didn't get to play the first one nearly as much as I would love to. I think that this will be something I purchase, like just go buy.
Yeah, because I was like level 35 when I stopped playing. That was pretty high up there compared to like the 50s.
Yeah,
the maxes, but I was still high up there.
One of the things that I read about Splatoon is that there's actually going to be a manga based on the game.
Which is no surprise, because I mean that's just like literally Japan rolling all over that game.
Yeah, it's actually going to be serialized in Shigaku-kan's Koro Koro comic magazine in May 15th, 2017. And Viz Media is actually going to start publishing it later this year. So
I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, I am too, man. Hopefully that'll like give some story. Mm-hmm. Maybe more development.
Well, I mean, we already have the idea of the Octolings versus the Inklings, basically. So there's some kind of like beef, I guess, with the squids and the octopus.
It's like beef.
But then they had that DJ Octo or whatever his name was, or I can't remember that boss battle at the end of the game. But he was just basically like this random bad guy that just happened to terrorize the Inklings and stuff. So maybe they'll give more of a, like you said, an actual fleshed out story with it.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that too. Now, moving on from a Switch-based video game to something that we recently just found out, I think a week or so ago, maybe even a little longer than that. And I think I speak for everybody when I say this was a fucking head-scratcher.
Yeah.
Please elaborate, sir.
So Nintendo decided to re-release the NES in a smaller version, but have a internal memory with, it was like, what, 30 games?
Yeah.
Or so?
Yeah, there were 30 built-in games.
And they basically, released it, and it was just massive hysteria. Everybody wanted one.
It had writable storage for save spots.
Mm-hmm.
Every kid's dream.
But they just discontinued it. Just recently.
On April 13th.
Now, Nintendo, we talked about this before the show started. We knew that this was mostly just the hype of the excitement kind of sales.
Yeah, dude. For 5 months. This thing's only been out 5 months.
Yeah, so they knew that the customers would actually like draw attention and actually buy these up like in a quick second, and they were sold out for a while when they first released. They re-released it again, and then now just like, oh no, you're done. We're good.
Yeah, I mean, and everybody like, I don't know. I mean, the only criticism people had was that the cord was too short and like just some emulation glitches with the sound, but. Other than that, it was just really well received, and it was one of many plug-and-play consoles on the market. And, I mean, shit, most retailers sold like 196,000 units in its first month.
Mm-hmm.
And it sold out within hours, and they sold 1.5 million complete units of this. Why would you discontinue it?
Well, in return, though, they're actually doing a Super Nintendo version in the horizon. Yeah,
and that was in part like to like introduce that. Which, I mean, yeah, that's cool and everything, but they're doing the same thing that they just did with this. Like, they're not releasing it until near Christmas, and like
That's gonna be gone
in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure, dude. Like, if they're gonna I don't know. I wonder if this is like a long-term strategy to like keep the consumer like demanding Nintendo products. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's all the fanboys from like the 80s.
Yeah, but like, okay, I didn't get my hands on the NES Classic, and then they're gonna like, well, we're gonna do a Super Nintendo. It's like, ooh, that's even better. But what about the people that really were diehard for the NES when it just never got a chance to
The ones that grew up with it, yeah.
Yeah. You know, which, newsflash, like, this is not an asshole comment I'm about to make, but it is what it is. People were already modding the NES Classics to play Sega 32X and N64 titles on it. You're gonna have hackers out there, but I mean, there are so many emulators that you can mod like Xbox, like old school Xboxes with, and play these games and have more than 30 titles on them.
Yeah.
They're out there. I have one. It's awesome. And this is why I was not butthurt over this. Sadly. I say sadly. I was not butthurt about this at all.
But for the rest of us that, don't have access to this kind of stuff, it would just kind of be like a nut shot, basically.
It pretty freaking much. It was Nintendo blue balls. You sons of bitches. But, again, this speaks to the money hungriness of...
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo's already a tyrant when it comes to the gaming industry. So, I mean, they're not going to die out from, lack of game sales and system sales. But this is basically just boosting them up numbers-wise, while at the same time building that bad reputation of just like a small amount of time, we're going to release a console that everyone loves, and then, nope, we'll take it off the shelves.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they already have a bunch of issues with, customer complaints about, like, the online gaming community, the third-party introduction when it comes to gaming development, the graphical capabilities of this, which, by the way, Nintendo's not known for that. No. Nintendo's all about originality and creativity when it comes to the gameplay and the games themselves.
Innovation.
So, all the people that complain about graphics, about the online gaming community, they already have that in two of the systems. So quit expecting Nintendo to follow what other two platforms are doing.
Yeah, the other two platforms, mind you, are in a constant dick measuring contest. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
The Xbox 1-inch versus the PS 4-inch. I'm just saying.
Literally.
And then you've got Nintendo Switch, which is literally the switch hitter of the two. I mean, let's be honest. I've owned the I own the PS4. I'm a Sony guy. I've always been a Sony guy. The Nintendo Switch is just a really good console. I'm sorry. Innovative-wise and the capabilities of it, I'm sold 100% on it.
I mean, outside of the videos we saw about the people complaining about the technical issues and hardware issues and the physical parts of it, but overall, it's actually a really wonderful system to be introduced in our world when we're just sitting on our butts in front of a television where we can just literally just take it with us.
Oh, absolutely. And... again, just we've done a podcast talking about how great this console is. You go back and listen to that if you'd like to, out there in the interwebs land.
Please do.
Please go listen, and please
rate,
review,
rate,
review,
rate,
review,
rate,
and don't
with a T.
Yes, please. T for teen.
Team effort.
Okay.
Back on track.
Yes. We have just gotten familiar with two titles, one for the Nintendo Switch and one for the PlayStation 4. Which one would you like to do first?
Well, I mean, being that I actually got in the Switch first and I actually had played it for a good 2 or 3 weeks solid, Zelda.
Okay, let's talk about Breath of the Wild.
A breath of fresh air.
Exactly.
For one. It's everything that I had hoped for and then some, to be honest. It has broken away from the traditional gameplay style of you're in a small world, you go to X, Y, Z, basically.
Yeah.
Now it's open world, like you've already known. There is no real order in order to complete the game. You pretty much do what you want. You can explore the land around you and actually find like hidden troves of supplies. You can find horses running around wild and capture them and ride them, all that kind of stuff. Do side quests, go to different places and find like new cultures. Like they have four main races. They have the Gerudo, the Ruto, the Zoras, and the Gorons. There's, like I said, no real order when you explore them. You go to one or the other first. It doesn't matter. I just like how this game took a mechanic that's popular already and just basically put their own spin on it and their Zelda flagship on it, basically.
Absolutely. And I think my favorite part of the game is you're constantly having to pick things up. The way that you can replenish your life on this game is really cool. You can cook certain
Richie, we gotta cook.
Yes. Damn it, Link. Instead of the RV, it's a horse.
Yeah.
Like it's a horse with a wagon on it.
He's wearing his green tunic and his underwear.
Yes.
Breaking rupee.
Listen.
Instead of blue skies, blue Navi.
Oh my God, yes. But no, I like that you can cook certain things with different elements. Like what is it? There's a like you can make elixirs pretty much, and some of these things you can cook, like the red peppers. It will help you sustain in cold weather
for a small amount of time.
Yeah, and that's another awesome thing is that there are weather conditions that will kill you. You have to use the stamina that he has wisely, and the weapons break. It doesn't matter how strong the weapon is. If you use it a lot, eventually it will break. Mm-hmm. And that makes you become a little more tactical in your combat.
Basically, if you want to save the stronger weapons for boss battles and stuff like that. Also, which is a really interesting concept, is the weather system does play effect more than just it'll kill you. If you have electrical storms hitting your area and you have metal anything on you, it will hit you more than anything else in that area.
Yep.
Lightning strikes hit pretty much anything, metal sword, metal shield, bow, whatever. You have to basically equip non-metallic objects for a temporary amount of time before the storm passes.
Yeah, and then what I found the best thing to do is find a spot and mark it on your map, drop your weapons there, and come back to it to pick them back up. Because they won't go anywhere unless you completely,
throw them off the cliff or something.
Yeah, if you throw them off a cliff or you, leave the area and go into, a temple or something that requires the game to reload into something
it basically resets, yeah.
So that's what I like about this. Just the gameplay, the interaction. I really enjoy the targeting system with the bow and arrow. The way they make you actually become accurate.
Yeah, you actually have to look and actually sit there and guess how high you need to aim so that distance where it actually arches.
And another thing I thought was awesome is, say, okay, one of the places I left to get one of the orbs at the beginning of the game, there were these little things that would come out of the ground and target you to try to, and you'd have to hide from them. I didn't realize this, but I actually climbed to this specific place around those things and didn't know they were there until I left that temple area. Mm-hmm. You can actually evade them and just run off in another direction. But wait, there's more. If you get anywhere near the vicinity that you just, say they're in a little barricaded area, if you get away from that, they'll respawn elsewhere and still try to kick your ass. Mm-hmm. Unless you just escape the area completely.
You're talking about the Staphos, the skeletons?
Yes, I am.
Did you come across the skeletal horses?
Not yet.
You can actually ride those.
Oh my God.
Now, granted, it's only during the night, but you can still ride skeletal horses.
It sounds like such a metal album.
Slow metal music playing. As you're slowly galloping through Hyrule.
Sorry.
But also, have you come across the Linnell yet?
What is that?
It is basically a centaur on steroids.
Jesus Christ, no.
He has a lion-type upper body with the mane and stuff, and basically like a horse body on the bottom.
Centaur.
Yeah. He's hard. Literally.
Notice me, centaur!
But that is probably the one baddie in Zelda that is worse than the boss battles.
No baddies.
No baddies. Stop! They're even worse than Guardians. Have you come across the Guardians?
Yes.
Yeah, worse than them.
Fuck my life.
Because as soon as they spot you, they shoot you with electrical arrows from a distance. And then when they're done with that...
From a distance. Sorry.
Then, when they're done with that, they charge at you with their own sword and shields. They're custom made to them. And they swipe you. Like, they literally just, like, run at you and just...
Swiper.
Yeah, swipe or no swipe.
That's right.
No, they're swiping.
Fuck you.
They don't swipe left or right. They just swipe.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't wait to get that far in the game.
Oh, you can just find them anywhere.
Well, I guess I need to explore some more.
Yay.
Like Dora.
Hola, you dead bitch.
Hola, listen.
So, question for you: how did you get to any of the first, or not the first, but the main temples, like the beasts?
I don't know, dude. Like I haven't even gotten the. Right now, what happened is I've gotten the spirit orbs and, fuckbag McGee Santa Claus. That's what I call him. Fuckbag McGee Santa Claus. He's a dick. And he's broken his promise to me twice to give him a fucking hang glider. I still have more shit to do for him, apparently. Like,
you haven't gotten far yet.
No, I haven't. Like, I've been, trying to play, as much as possible.
Yeah, you'll find out about him eventually, but...
Well, there's a reason I haven't played as much. Is because, I unfortunately got one of the switches where the thumbstick on the left Joy-Con sticks, and Link... I have rage quit this game so many times because Link I'll be like, fuck yeah, I made it somewhere, and he just runs off a cliff, and I'm like, you fucking dick, I just got you up here.
Mm-hmm. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah. Shout out Devin. Devin watched me play around, and he was like, I've never seen you rage so hard in your life. And I was like, oh.
It's only more. It's more to come.
Oh, I told him that. I was like, this is nothing. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is fucking nothing.
But yeah, you'll know when those divine beasts hit, because they put you in a perspective that you never thought about in Zelda.
Divine beasts and where to find them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you'll see them from a distance.
From a distance? Sorry. I'm not sorry. Well, I guess that's about all I can say for it, just because I haven't played through a lot, as much as you.
Yeah, and I don't want to spoil too much.
Okay. Well,
sorry.
That's okay. Now, Cody and I are probably going to geek out really hard just because a video game was just released on April 11th worldwide, and it's something that he and I have been waiting on for the last 2 or 3 years. You described in our former podcast, this was probably I think maybe our second or third episode that we were talking about this. Playtonic, which is an offshoot, comprised of key personnel from the video game company Rare. Mm-hmm. Which was responsible for games like Donkey Kong Country,
Perfect Dark.
I
think GoldenEye was one of the main ones.
I believe,
well.
Yeah.
Because it was Donkey Kong, that was their main flagship, and then
Battletoads was one of them they were responsible for, and then of course
Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes, which Banjo-Kazooie was a staple of my Nintendo 64 days.
Yeah, especially the second one for me. I played the first one a lot, but the second
Banjo-Tooie?
one... Yeah, Banjo-Tooie was just so much fun for me.
Yeah, and the game we're speaking of is the spiritual successor to that series.
Yooka-Laylee.
Yeah. And, I mean, they're pretty much they're keeping it in line as far as, Banjo and Kazooie was a Banjo and a Kazoo, and obviously...
A Yooka-Laylee.
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't figured that out by now.
Right, and instead of a bear and a bird...
It's a chameleon and a bat.
And they are cute as fuck.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because Yuka has that personality of Banjo, but not being as dumb as you can kind of put it. Because Banjo was really just kind of that doofus character in the game. But at the same time, Laylee is literally the equivalent of Kazooie. He's a smart ass. He's a dick. Yeah.
He's a dick bat.
Basically.
It's a dick bat. I really love the gameplay. It was immediately nostalgic. The collecting system in the game is by far right out of that era.
And I enjoy it. I enjoy it so much. It's not so linear. It's not so direct with everything. In a way it is, because it tells you to do this, you got to do this. Obviously. But I felt with the first Banjo-Kazooie game, it was just it was simplistic. It was just so easy to find everything and know where everything's at. The first world in this game, we'll run it down for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
You go into the book. Is basically each stage is a book, and the whole entirety of the game is based around they are trying to find this one specific book to redefine reality as a whole. So they've kidnapped every book in the whole world, and they basically have Yooka-Laylee going after the main bad guy, which is a big B.
That looks like Gru.
Yeah, dude, does. Capital B.
Right.
Which is funny.
Yes.
And they go to find their book, their specific book, and they end up coming across the first world. Well, the first world's the actual book you go into, and it's like a portal. Well, you get there, and it's pretty decent size. You walk around, it's like a tribal, jungle-y kind of place. And you go around collecting notes, or not notes, I'm still stuck in Banjo-Kazooie land.
Pages.
Yeah, pages as the jigsaws, or the jiggies. And they have quills instead of the notes.
Yes.
So you're collecting, and then you collect 3 pages, and they go, oh, by the way, if you collect 3 pages, you can expand the world that you're in right now. And I'm like, expand?
What?
So,
What?
You leave the world.
Swiggity swooty.
You go to this little pedestal, you press the button, and it literally expands the book bigger, and you go inside the world again. The map is like 5 times bigger than it was before. It has a whole bunch of new shit in there, and it's like,
way in the air!
Platforming dream. Like, you literally have to, jump everywhere to get to where you need to go.
And I also like that I've actually played far enough into it to where I'm in the second world now, and what I enjoy is they don't give everything away immediately. Like, you have to go collect skill, and you learn your different skills by advancing in the game.
From a good name, Trouser.
Yes, his name is Trouser. Mm-hmm. He's a snake in a pair of shorts.
What was that?
Just let that sink in. Just let that sink in.
Let that sneak in.
Right. No, but what I was getting at is he's the one that gives you your moves. You have to learn certain moves from stage 2 to go back to stage 1 to complete your collection.
Which is what I like about this versus the other 2 games, because the other 2 games you have to learn the moves in the world, and then you basically complete the whole world by itself, and you collect everything. This one now you have to go back, 2 or 3 worlds ahead, learn that, come back, and then get all the stuff from there. Which Banjo-Tooie kind of did in the way. They had some areas where you had to go back and revisit, but this one's more like the very first world. You can't get everything.
Yeah.
So.
And who knew that, a chick bat and a male chameleon. I think these guys are genius. They're so the design is really great. The plot's really great. The gameplay is fun. The gameplay, a lot of people were worried about this title kind of being like, okay, is it going to be so 3D platform that it's 1998 all over again? Are we going to get literally the best and worst of this? Mm-hmm. Not so much the worst. The only literal complaint I have about this is the camera.
That is probably oh my god.
That is the bane of my existence on this game.
It is so touchy and so sensitive. You can turn just a little bit and it just dashes to one direction.
I had to turn the sensitivity on it down.
I did too, and it's still too sensitive.
Yeah. And the camera, another thing is, another one, is, it follows exactly like it would in 1998. Somebody should have told whoever designed this mechanic, or said, "Hey, let's put this mechanic in the game." Dude, literally, this is 20 fucking years ago. Mm-hmm. Everything else about it is great. There's even a dinosaur that runs an arcade. It's a subplot in the game. There is a goal that you can reach where you can actually unlock the 64-bit version of this game. Mm-hmm. And what it does is it desensitizes all the graphics and cell shades it to the 64-bit look. Mm-hmm. That's a cool feature.
I like that too. I haven't gotten that far yet, but I thought that was really neat.
Oh, you have to beat... It doesn't tell you exactly how, but it says something to the effect of you have to beat the whole game with this, and this to do it. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those if you really are good at this, we're gonna reward your childhood, with all this.
Well, that's why I'm gonna be 100% completionist on this game.
Oh, me too. And that's another thing. The replay value of this game is excellent. Now, what I thought was really funny is that they actually did make this for people that grew up with this platforming style, because my son played this game and and I can see that for a kid. Like, you're gonna have to really like expand your brain a little to like really grasp, the collecting aspect, and like, you got to work for this piece to get this. It is difficult.
Yeah, it is. I mean, especially with like the quills, they're not easily accessible half the time. You have to figure out like where to go from one point to get to that point.
Yeah.
And then I'm just now finding like the Mollycool, the butterfly that expands my health.
Yes.
And there was the coin for Rextro's arcade.
Yes.
I found those, but I haven't found that lightning rune piece.
Yep. Spoiler for anybody that's playing this. It's on the very top of the Tribal Tropics level on the big, like that big old thing that you were telling me about. What I liked was that they put some there are random appearances by other rare characters in this game.
There was Shovel Knight in the
Yeah,
first
I
world.
laughed so hard at how they were talking about his what did Laylee call his currency? His flat
flat shovel or flat pail.
No, it was his flat pixelated currency.
Flat, yeah.
He was so used to his flat pixelated currency. And then the cart from Donkey Kong Country is its own character in this game.
Or Cartro.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and that's what we liked about it as well, is there's a part of the game where Yooka and Laylee jump in this thing, and it takes you through a mine track. It's in the air, but it's pretty much the mine track level from Donkey Kong Country.
Jumping around and everything, too.
Yeah. So there's a little throwback for everybody.
And that's just only in the first world.
Yeah, you have so much nostalgia in the first world that you're going to get a taste of the rest of the game is going to be cool. And let me just preview this before we head on into the sunset. World 2 is ice. The whole thing is ice.
Vanilla.
Baby. Yeah. It's vanilla. It's vanilla.
But shut up, Mike.
Jesus Christ. It's vanilla. Now kiss. No, a couple of other things about this. It also features local cooperative multiplayer mode for 2 players. You can actually play the full mode as 2 players.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that means that somebody controls Laylee and somebody controls Yooka, which we haven't tried it yet, but I would love to try this soon.
That would be neat.
Now, this is out on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. It's supposed to be released for the Nintendo Switch, but Playtonic has announced that there's not going to be a physical release for it, so they're probably going to make it purchasable in the Nintendo eShop, which I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're getting a copy of it, so.
Yeah, and the PlayStation 4 it's gorgeous. It's visually stunning. It's very well made. The colors pop. And honestly, it's a very kid-friendly game. But there's also a lot for adults to enjoy, like the trouser snake joke. The dialogue is amazing. The dialogue to me is the best part. It's okay if you kind of put a PG-13 version of Conker's Bad Fur Day.
That was actually kind of what I was getting at too, especially with the flowers in the first world.
Yes.
Hey, baby, why don't you come pollinate me?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's something for everybody to enjoy, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So check those games out. Keep a lookout for the Sonic games coming out. Get Splatoon 2, and for the love of everything, just pre-order the damn SNES Classic whenever they release it. If you want a copy or a piece of history, because they're probably only going to have it out for a half a year.
At least.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/supermediabros. We are on Twitter at supermedia_bros. We are at soundcloud.com/supermediabros. We are on iTunes and Google Play for you Apple and Android users out there. Anything else, good sir?
I'm pretty tapped out, so.
Well, I
Push
thought he was going to play.
Just push play.
If only I were Aerosmith, I would just push play.
Press button.
Right. Well, that was Wild Yooka-Laylee for episode 14. Until next time, shades on. We're all.